Oh, that new merch come out today, the Go Deep merch? Yes. Word. The new merch come out today. Y'all got me locked up in here, dog? Let me the fuck out of here. The merch. I gotta get a hoodie. Let me out. Let me out. Alright, word. Fuck y'all boy there. That one ain't gonna buy nothing. Yo, you going the wrong way. That merch over here. Word. Yo, the merch come out and you don't even get that shit yet? You got on a hoodie. What? That Go Deep merch come out and you ain't even get me going? No, you ain't going. Get that shit right now, nigga. Yo, the new merch out today? Yep. Go Deep merch? Yep. Hoodies? Yep. Tanks? Everything, dog. Women's clothes? Everything. Merchandise? Cups? Mugs? Pillows? Pillows!
My name is Flash.
How fast does that make you?
It means it makes really fast.
Let me see how fast.
I'm going to go get the Go Deep merch!
Oh!
Get that I don't have any clothes. Hey, I know where you can get a hoodie from. Oh, my bad, dog. I'm just trying to tell you about the Go Deep merch. Go Deep merchandise. When your dealer's not picking up the phone and you need a hit of
Zach Crack.
I'd buy that for $1.
Yo, we are back in this bit for another episode. Go Deep, episode 192. If you saw that intro, you might know that we are now officially selling merchandise. We are now if you look at, the bottom of this podcast right now in the description box, there is a place where you can buy Go Deep merch. Yes, finally, right? There is a link that you can go buy the coolest merch in the world right now. No, we're not there yet, but one day we will be. But this is the beginning stages of our next journey in life. Go Deep merch. But did we end this last journey in life? We did not. We still do podcasts as well. Podcasts. Yes. What is a podcast? Well, a podcast is I kind of sit down with the homies, we talk. Y'all know, and of course, you see the intro, you see the title. You know, I interviewed my producer of the show, the homie, fucking Gio. Bingo, to be exact. He came on the show. He's been doing a lot of work behind the scenes for the show for about 2 months now. And a lot of, he don't ask for no credit. He just sit there and do it. What Gio been doing, he been setting up shows. You might see a lot of these great shows like, you saw the Film God Fatal J's show. You saw, it's just pretty much all of them. I still hit up people every now and then, and people still hit me up and set up shows also. But it's pretty much Gio, and he's been knocking them out. The Sean O'Connell interview, blah, blah, blah. So, I haven't really been, I have been giving Gio credit just behind the scenes. Now I'm going to give Gio credit in front of the scenes. I'm about to interview my dog. Go Deep, episode 192. Let's get into some music. While we listen to some music, y'all go check out my merch account. Buy as much shit as you can. You'll see why later in the interview. Yeah, bitch! Away!
I got 3 flip phones, yo bitch call all on, yo bitch talk all on, had to put a pause on them. I got Louis V on, diamonds on. I got D&G on. Shit, I got 3 designers on. Hey, bitches talking about boy, but I ain't even coming strong. And these niggas broke, been watching door, trying to swipe my feet long. And the op still dropping chords, little nigga, how the hell we into it so long? We been on the road for 3 months, how we been on tour for so long? I been gone, chasing paper, been counting Franklin. Jackson wanna be a bitch about it, so I took his ass to Jamaica. Fuck this bitch and made him think about it while I'm riding around in Mercedes. In that Moussain like a mail, blew up fast like crack in the 80s. Ain't shit free, little bitch come pay. 35 racks in the stacks like Katie. I'm a young gold in this shit, no Jay-Z. VVS diamonds clear like HD. Money out tooth, little nigga, you scaling. Inside fifth, I'm about no defense. Glock 33, I'ma shoot till empty. Big backwood, little nigga, you scared. It's a rat in your circle, little nigga, you fish. I'ma shoot for my name, little nigga, don't tell me. You riding the wave, you niggas ain't drippin'. 100 rack stash in the back of the bit. New iPhone, cause the last 3 flip. 3 new phones ran down like Mitch. I been in this shit, little nigga, you sit. New big B's and I got them from Missy.
Fire up the backwood. But the bitch is time out, she ain't that good. Big booty white bitch act hood. Bought a Louis couch where I once stood. Boy, I ain't no feeling rich or feel this good. You was with the bitch trying to kiss good. I was with the bitch trying to pimp good. Fly out to Cali, I was a trip good. Know I'm getting close when I land like Flip Hood. You look at my mouth, it's game over. This a rose, not a rover. I used to hustle for over. Shoot with the soldiers, sleep with the cobras. I cut down the grass and exposed them. But the weed whack her up and got colder. Still woke up with my rocks on my shoulder. People wish I would stop and be over. Woo. These niggas thought I fell off. Well, it turns out I'm well off. And you wouldn't pop a shell off. Your brother's in jail and your cousin tail, and you won't send no mail off. And y'all call a P a sellout. I should tell you fuck the hell off. That was really your brother, no stepchild. I thought blood was thicker than water. You buying Gucci and Prada. Ain't sent your brother $1.
Ain't none of these motherfuckers loyal. Most niggas hoes from the get-go. Ooh, ran that bed up by myself. Now I'm outside blowing more gas than a sick go do it. Got more gas than a sick go move it. Bandana tied up right leg boo. Got bitches in line, they begging and choosing. I get your baby mama butt naked all in the studio. Show me that coochie hole, bitch. Pills in your booty hole, bitch. Can't set me up, no, you acting for your movie role, I'ma leave you alone, bitch. Leave a nigga drink star blood like DMX. I got 100 round drum, consider me a threat. Heard you a snitch, got your people in your feds. I ain't dead. Shit, a nigga put a nigga one in his head. Shoot a nigga, look a nigga, come through the glass. Cook a nigga, leave a nigga laying in the grass. Stupid nigga, you a student in the hall without a pass. Chest ass and nerd ass nigga get harassed. Big down bully, knock him on his ass. I make me a hot nigga, son, go sell my packs. Put him on the corner, cut class, get racks. With the light voice, I ain't slime nor slash. Scuba Steve, been a young thug, way before rap. I been get you fucked up, way before rap. No cap, I shoot, I bang, I scrap them dude. Get you way before rap, I shoot, I bang, I scrap them dude. Boy, last nigga, better check your move. Last nigga, better check your temp, don't act no fool, ho, I ain't got tools. Last nigga, get your hoe ass, We ain't giving nigga no pass. Send some shit real quick, get your slow ass. Get the shooting up as soon as you go past.
Got Gucci, got 50, got drip on. Big D for your bitches to sit on. Max out pussy out the flip phone. Then the put 40 point diamonds in Milo. Triple South B-Lo, Pico. Out of Miami, out with Louis V speedboat. Jumped in the water, found Nemo. Real out the big, got paper like Kinko. A nigga said pussy not kilo. Take a nigga ass out the game, Tim Tebow. Shaq in the clock, Big Diesel. Son shoot a nigga like a free throw. Son shoot a nigga like B-roll. Pussy ass nigga, you was just an actor. Some big bird, I'm a pterodactyl. Bitch call my phone, I don't never answer. I'm a real pimp, I am not a trapper. Such a slang, that's a known factor. Heard raw tongue, he a don't crack. This big here, then you won't make it home after. Bullet hit hard like a linebacker. Think something sweet till them bitches start flying at you. Pop a shit out like a firecracker. Bitch such a break a bitch down like a chiropractor. I'm twin.
All right, Go Deep episode 192. We got the one and only, the producer of this show, Gio. Finally, B-I-N-G-O is in this building. What's going on, dog?
What's up, fam? How you doing?
Same old shit. Same old shit. One of those days. So we just we saw the release of Snyder Cut trailer yesterday.
Yes.
We saw Zack Snyder on Garza's show yesterday.
Yes.
And we got even greater news right now. Today we're gonna fucking drop the hoodies and the merchandise.
I was gonna be all quiet about it. I was gonna be like, oh, what's that hoodie you wearing? How do I get one? How do I get one of those?
Oh, I'll edit that part out.
No, leave it how it is. I like
all right, we'll leave it in. So I don't know what that hoodie is. What is he talking about? Maybe you can screen share something.
Maybe I can't. I can't do it that quickly, but there we go. I think you see it now.
Oh man, look at my kids. Oh, they're gonna be on a merchandise. We got a photo shoot coming up, so these pictures are all gonna change. But for now, there's my kids in the pool throwing up West Side gang signs. Marlo's trying. So right now you see some Go Deep hoodies. You see some Zach Crack hoodies. You see your bitch hoodies. Now remember, the price is at $44.99, but 25% of every monthly sale of all merchandise we're going to give away to American Foundation of Suicide Prevention. So we're going to donate it, not give it away. But if you see, we got sportswear also. We got merchandise like T-shirts, Go Deep shit, Zach Crack stuff, women's tanks, women merchandise. Look, you got some grays, you got some blacks, you got some Go Deep pillows, some Zach Crack mugs. And if your girl got big, nice things, she should go. that looks
Wait,
pretty good.
which one is that? Which one's that?
Any of them with a tank top. Just if she's nice up top, get her a tank top and she's gonna look good. I got Katie that's probably gonna do a picture in a tank top pretty soon.
I'll see. All right, I see it. The women's fitted tank top. Yeah,
yeah. See.
There you go.
There you go.
Made especially for women, because we care about all our fans.
Right. Wait. You want to support Go Deep? Look at that. Look at Will throwing in some extra shit. You saw that, dog?
I clicked out of it. I was like, fuck this ad.
Thanks a lot, producer. But yeah, that's the website. And we're going to link it to Gio's interview today. Thanks a lot for screen sharing that shit.
So this is live now, right? Like now I can buy.
Mm-hmm. Well, as soon as we release your shit. Well, you can buy it because you see it. Yeah, but yeah, you can definitely buy it.
Nice. All right. So now you can get your Zach Crack hoodie, you know.
Yep.
Winter's coming.
Winter's coming.
Healy's been ready for winter ever since it's been 90 degrees. He's like, damn, it's cold.
It's all marketing and promotion, baby. All marketing and promotion. Oh yeah, this screen share shit is nice, bro. So
Yeah, we could do presentations later on, but
okay.
Let's go back.
Perfect. All right, now we're in here with you. We still recording, right? Perfect.
Yeah, we're still recording.
Perfect. So Gio, this is not your first time on Go Deep, but it's your first time by yourself on Go Deep. And I always wanted to interview you just to see, first I want to tell you great job lately because I remember when you text me one time, you was like, I got all these ideas for Go Deep and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just sitting there reading and I'm like, all right. And you're like, no, but I don't want to take over. I just want to help it out. And I said, all right, but what you've done for Go Deep has been above and beyond, setting up all these interviews and shit like that with these new people that I've never talked to. And then you hook me up on the Release the Snyder Cut panels and shit like that, man.
Yeah, I saw those. Awesome.
Yeah, man. I got to give you some props, bro.
Yeah, no, thanks, man. Dude, all for you, man. I remember that I said, oh, look, let's, when we didn't even know that was the day of the announcement, I was just like, let's catch up with Sean on his book. Right. Like you brought him on the first podcast. I think it would be cool to just catch up with him because he said he just finished his book before he had to edit the book because the announcement was made. Right. So we were just pulling him in and we were like, there's all this hype going on. Like, let's just bring him in. Like, we don't know. Let's just chit chat with him. Like, I want to know what he's thinking.
Right.
He's a film journalist. He probably knows a little bit more than we do. So I want to know what he's thinking. And it was just a great episode. We had him on and we all got to get hyped for that day. Like, we were all hyped for the Man of Steel watch party, but we were extra hyped after talking to Sean and just hearing the shit that he said. So that was cool, man. And you were just like, okay, yeah, you can do whatever you want. You were just like, you can do it. I was like, all right, Peel's a cool dude.
You killed it too, bro. That was pretty much your interview, and what's good about it is because the timing was so perfect because we talked about it. We talked about it for a while and it just was just like strolling along. And then when it finally happened, the next day was the fucking announcement. you know, and it was
Yeah.
like, damn, it couldn't get much better timing than that, though. It was perfect, you know. So I commend you, bro.
Thank you. And then like the rest of this month, honestly, it's just I'm just throwing out ideas that you started. Because when you think about this podcast and what sort of separates this podcast from the other ones, and not to say that the other ones don't do this, but like your podcast has been dedicated to two things. Like going deep, like the word is, on some ridiculous conspiracy theory shit. And it's like you make it fun. Like I love it. Like I love that's why I started watching this. Like I just love like listening to it. I probably started listening to you when we were like you were doing the stuff with against the 40s and all that, because that shit was funny. I remember I saw some clip. Oh no, I saw the clip of Garza reacting to you. So then I saw the clip that you put out, and I was like, oh man, you know, this guy caught him good, and Garza got real mad. But then I started listening to to all the alien episodes. That's why I always tell someone when they want to like come onto the pod, I'm like, you want to talk alien shit, or you just want to talk about yourself?
Yeah, man. It's Will kind. I don't know. I used to dabble in that alien shit. You know, in Hollywood, aliens are big shit. But I don't know. Will likes that alien shit, and then when Will talks about it, other people are like, damn, yo, I want to talk about this alien shit too. And then it just like becomes a theme. I don't know. People like aliens. Something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they do exist.
Yeah, we've heard. So tell us something about you, man. How long you been in the movement? What got you in the movement? Stuff like that.
Yeah, that's all due to Fiona. I've been in the movement probably since February 2018. You know, I was a supporter of Zach and his like filmography forever. Like I remember just strolling into 300 when that came out, and I was in college around that time. And I like always have like this history, like I always just go to the movie theater and I don't necessarily like know what I'm gonna go watch. I just like pick something. And I saw 300 and I was like, oh, this looks cool. Like I saw a trailer or something. And after anybody that watches that movie, like you just like fucking blown away. Like you come out of that. That's why it's so memed and all that shit. Like that's why there's so many gifts. Like it's whatever you say about that film, like visually, it just was something that didn't exist at that time.
Right.
And it just like you come out of it, even if you don't like it, like it hit you somehow. Cops are coming from me.
Fucking New York, bro. Fucking New York, dog.
But yeah, no, I came out of that, always been following Zach, and then I got really, really into him when Watchmen came out. And then Watchmen came out, and the news came out that he was going to do Superman. Superman's always been like my favorite character. I don't know if I got a little statue here, I got shit everywhere, you know. There we go, a little, this guy. But yeah, no, when I heard he was going to do Superman, I was like, okay, like, this guy, this director that I really, really like is going to do this film about this character that I really like. And I go in, I see Man of Steel. And I don't know if you remember, but when Man of Steel came out, it got so much shit because people, especially that last scene where he like, you know, kills Zod. Everybody's like, this is not Superman. Like, this is not the, you know, happy-go-lucky like version or whatever. And I'm like, but that's not Superman. Like, they had to edit comics to make it more like that movie, because that movie back then, they sort of invented their own Clark, you know? So anyway, got super into that. Then I saw Batman v Superman. Batman v Superman's like, to this day, my favorite fucking movie ever. Yeah, like, and I say that with a straight face to everybody. I'm like, I agree. You can see like all the, like, I'm into film, but like, it's a very, very, very well-made film. And it's also about shit that I like have been into my whole life. So like that for me is my, like, I respect whatever you're gonna call your favorite film. I'm not saying that, like, you know, I'm not saying I think it's one of the best made movies ever, but like, I'll respect that you say that something else is, but just for me, that was perfect. So anyway, to long story short, yeah, then I saw Justice League and I was like, what is this? And it was the hype that I had for Justice League, you know, coming out of Batman v Superman. Like, I was supposed to leave the country. I travel a lot, so I was supposed to leave the country to do this little like tour around Asia, like just to go see a couple of cities. So I actually bought tickets for Justice League in Singapore, Tokyo, and Korea, because I was gonna go hopping around. So I had 4 tickets for this movie, plus the one for because I was leaving the day after the, like, you know, the movies come out on Thursday. even though it's the premiere Friday. So I saw it Thursday in the city, in the big IMAX here. And I come out of that theater, and I remember being there with like this friend of mine, and she just looked at me. She's like, "You didn't like that movie, did you?" And I was like, I need to
gotta digest it.
I gotta digest what just happened. I don't know what happened. And then by the time I saw it the third time, I was in like the third time I was in the theater in Tokyo. And if anybody's ever been out there and seen a movie there, Japanese people are like very reserved. So this movie that like, you know, I guess is supposed to be funny and shit, and like people reacted to it here in the US and in Singapore too. They were just like straight faced, and I was like, after like seeing it without any energy at all, you just like, what the fuck is going on? And I came out of that theater. It was like 11 o'clock at night. I came out and I was like, nah, that's not his movie. And at that point, I'm not big into Twitter or anything. I think probably then, I think even then, like Instagram was like my social media that I used. So I didn't even know where to go to like talk to somebody. And I remember like Facebook groups existed like at that time, and I have always, and like I've seen stuff for like DC fans, but it's also like ridiculous. And then Reddit too, but I don't want to go into there. So for some reason or another, I went into Twitter and I was just like, all right, let me just see what people are talking about. And I remember seeing Fiona's tweets saying like, this isn't the movie. Like, you know, I loosely knew what had happened to get Zach off the film, but I was sort of looking at it more as like, he was so far into production that I didn't think they would be able to change that much. Like if anything, what would have happened would be what happened to Suicide Squad, where they took stuff that was already shot and they just rearranged it and made it nonsensical. Which they did that with BVS, right? So I was like, they could do that. Like for the most part, like I just understand where Zach's going, like mentally, so I can go ahead and watch the movie and just sort of arrange it back in my head the way it's supposed to be. But as I read into like what Fiona was saying, it's like, no, they reshot the movie. Like what they essentially did, and we've broken this down here on the show before, is that they'll take like a scene that Zach started, they edit the coloring, and then they finish it in a different way, or they like insert a joke. And that's probably how they got away with giving the director credit to Zach and not to Joss Whedon. Because, you know, if you trace back and you look at like the effects and shit, like you know when Superman's on there and it's a fake Superman.
That face.
You know when it's you know when it's Ben too, because unfortunately, like he was dealing with like his shit at the time, so his face is bloated and all that. You also know like when Aquaman is fake because Momoa is like, his hair looks a little bit different. Like the shit, like it's more of a wig at that point when his hair is actually natural. And when Zach is shit. So you know all this stuff and you're just like, okay, yeah, something here is fucked up. But yeah, I saw her tweeting, and then there was, I don't remember exactly what the event was in February. I think maybe the DVD was coming out, and we were like, okay, maybe what they're gonna do what they did with BVS and they just released the ultimate DVD or whatever. But that's, I think, when we found out that all they were adding was that one scene, where he's coming out of the Fortress of Solitude, and that was it. Like they weren't gonna actually give us the thing. So yeah, started following her, and then, you know, as things went, her and Chris started doing events, and I would like, you know, hop onto them. I was never like, that's why I know her. That's why I know him as Chris, huh?
Oh, so Fernando and Fiona's not the same person?
No. I mean,
I'm just tripping, man. I'm just tripping.
If Chris and Fiona are the same person, man, that shit yesterday would have been racist as fuck.
What shit? What shit?
Imagine if he like went on and talked to Zach on the Zoom call and just did like some Mission Impossible. Like,
face swap. Yeah, Ronaldo got some tech, bro.
and then he puts on like a Chinese accent.
Yeah, Ronaldo, you're going too far now, bro. You're going
I'm
too
like,
far.
dude, you can't do that shit. Nobody. This is public.
Yeah, Ronaldo, the joke is up, man. Let it go, Ronaldo.
Let it go, man. No, they're not the same person at all. Chris and Fiona go way back because they ran the first events. Like like I'm sure like people always, they're like, oh, this guy I was the first one to use the hashtag. He tweeted it, but nobody like look at the thing now. It's retweeted. And back then, like nobody said anything.
Right.
Like Fiona started to put that shit together. They were all like friends from like that Exile crew. They went through it a little bit, and they're gonna be putting out the RTC. I forgot what it's called. Let me look it up to actually like promote it. But they're gonna be putting out a podcast later. But yeah, no, the first events were them, and that's why I always like I laugh when like to me like, we always have this conversation about do we not respect the people that came on new to the movement? Like, are they not as good because they weren't always part of it? And that's never been the fact at all.
Right.
Like, if you look at our events, like, we're all welcoming to whoever it is. We're welcoming to people to just even change their mind, to be like, to talk shit one time and then just be like, you know what, I fucked up. I'm going to go. I'm going to help you guys enjoy it. Like, we've brought people in all the time.
Right.
Like Rob at first, like he would talk shit about some of the Man of Steel stuff, and then when he came fully on board, we're like, dude, you're in. Like this guy is a firm supporter of the movement. So I don't think that that's the case. My issue with people like coming into the movement is that they have no respect for what came before them.
Correct.
And it's like, if you're gonna come into something that's like full, like if you came in on November 17th, you should have gone out of your way and like really looked at the history of this. Like the whole point of that event was like, hey, we've been doing this for 2.5 years. So it's just a little bit of respect that you're asking to like, hey, who did this? Like who put up the billboard? Who did that? Like just asking those questions.
Correct.
To sort of respect what people did before. And it's just like a little like, it's just it's like a little nod for the work that people have done. Like nobody's asking for credit or anything like that. It's just a matter of like, if you're gonna hop into something, you have to like sort of respect the history of it.
Show some love, pay some dues, but I think a lot of people try to, like on a chessboard, get that guy out of the way, instead of showing some love, or paying some dues. But yeah, you're right. It was Fiona, and what was it, 2017, I think. It was Fiona came and found me just for making my kids' videos, and I always heard about her on the internet, but I didn't know how to get in touch with her. I just heard about her, but when she was in one of the kids, comment section, and then it just blew up from there. She showed a video to Zach, and then after that, they just wanted to keep doing them, So it just
Zach followed you on Vera, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, Zach, she was showing she was showing Kimura's videos before Zach followed me for a while, and then I think Zach saw something. I don't know, but I put up an AT&T post like long time ago, and he followed me that same day I made an AT&T post. So I thought it was that, but I don't know. Who knows what it was, but. Yeah, it was Fiona. That's what basically I'm saying. It was Fiona that started it all. All go deep, all kids in the camera. We kind of owe that shit to Fiona.
Yeah, and I think even to like, I guess as we talk about people coming in new, what we sort of mean by like Fiona is like, so the way that she interacted with everyone always has always been such a to me to be able to see her tweets and I'm like, yo, this random girl from China, like Zack Snyder is pointing at her and going, yo, you're powerful and anything.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, she is. And like, she'll relentlessly go out and doing the tweets and stuff like that. She was doing these events. Like to do that when she was doing it is not the same thing as doing an event now, because back then, and we get it a little bit now, but back then, like every fucking blogger was out there to just make fun of whoever did anything.
Right.
So the idea that you would put your face out there to essentially be a, dartboard for these people that are like professional people, like they have their website, like they have millions of followers on YouTube, like these people that could at any point in time say, hey, talk some shit about you. And then anybody that like follows them and wants to like be an asshole can then know who exactly to go after. Correct. And it's happened multiple times to Fiona. to put yourself out there like that, like that's not easy. That's like that is, you know, that's just like torture. Like you're just for anyone that like even had a tweet that you put out that even 50 people like it, your phone
Right.
just keeps going off.
Right,
Imagine,
nonstop.
imagine if that was your phone going off on people talking shit about you.
Right.
Like, imagine for a whole day, like your phone was just going off of people talking shit about you, and it was like professional people and shit like that were doing it.
I couldn't even
Or
imagine that shit, bro.
Yeah. So that's why, you know, that's what I mean by like I looked at Fiona and like she brought me in like her courage like to do that. I'm like, shit, I could fucking, you know, throw out a couple tweets to support this film that I want to see. Like that was the energy that back then, and that's how people came on. They were like, I could do my little piece here to help out. Like she's taking the brunt of the, you know, the hits and everything.
Right.
But yeah.
All
So
right.
yeah, that's what brought me in.
All right, cool. So then you reached a point where you have a pretty important picture at a New York Comic-Con. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so New York Comic Con. So my thing with New York Comic Con goes back probably like that 2018 Comic Con. I wasn't going to Comic Con anymore at that point. Like we've talked about this from time to time, but like I was heavy into comics growing up, but now I don't really like I'm not really into it. So I wasn't really going to Comic Con, but I saw what was happening in San Diego and I was like, this is cool, but there's this rare opportunity where in New York, like it's a big city and they have the Comic Con, but the Comic Con's not that big here. Like it's obviously not San Diego Comic Con. So it's number 2, if anything, but I don't even think it's number 2. There's other Comic Cons that I think are more prominent in the community. So I was like, if people came through like and rolled through New York Comic Con, like there's a possibility that would just be a lot of press because it's the Javits Center is not that big. So just the fact that people are walking around like and making some sort of scene, I think would get press, right? So that said, like, you know, I wasn't the organizer of the event or anything like that. People had already like started organizing it after the success of like that second Comic Con, that second
San Diego.
That was the second San Diego Comic Con after or was it the third?
Well, I think it was they did that one where Zach was supposed to come and didn't come or something like that, and then
that
the
was
one
2018.
after that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the one after 2019, where they went hard. That like the first time they had a ground crew. I think the Nerd Queens were there and like a couple other people. I think Koj was there, right? Like a couple people were there the first time. And then the second time, like they had an even stronger ground crew, Nerd Queens again. Koj, Jeff was there. They met up with Ray Porter because like the news was there for Ray Porter.
Ben W was there.
Ben W was there, and he started his epic. Which when you look at the pictures with the sign, I obviously stole that from Ben. His was cooler. His was cooler with the wood and shit. But I remember texting Ben the day, like a day or two before we were walking the floor near Comic Con, and I was like, dude, I gotta make a sign too. Like I gotta get away. Like I'm wearing the T-shirt or whatever. Like I need a sign, and I'm like, how do you put? How did you hang the sign? Like, how did you put it on a stick? I'm from the city. I'm not like Home Depot is not my thing. I'm like, how did you put it on the stick? And he's like, tape.
Damn, dog. Or what if you could have nailed it on there or stapled it on there?
Nah, bro, I would have lost fingers.
Damn, dog.
Like tape, and then I was like, oh, word. And then I was like, what stick did you use? Did you buy like a broom and take the broom part off? And he's like, nah, it's called and I don't even remember what it's called, but he had to tell me exactly what it's called. And I go into Home Depot, I say that word, and I just see a fucking wall of these sticks. And I was like, damn, I guess people need sticks for shit.
You fucking city boys, dog. That's crazy. Yo, in Charleston, Home Depot is like a Sunday date. You know, they fucking go to brunch and then go to Home Depot and then go back home. It's crazy, bro.
what are you building?
They just build everything. Like most people down in Charleston, you can like just build shit with shit you have in your house, bro. They build everything. I don't know, man. The South is different. It's just real different. Like,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Ben's not from the South, but he's from out there. He's from out west. They probably build shit too.
They build shit more. They build shit more than we do, you know.
Yeah, build like a chicken coop or something.
Damn, Ben, don't take that, dog. So then
I got all up for Ben.
Yeah,
but yeah,
Ben's
no.
cool as shit.
So the ideas out there, right? Like these, like we could do the little ones. So I actually don't know how like they picked New York Comic Con to be the next one, but the second that they put that out there, because they were talking about it when they were doing San Diego Comic Con, and it was like halfway through it, it was like like you could see a successful, like people were talking about the bus stops, people were talking about, they had put up a billboard on one of the highways there, people had talked about that, and I think they did the plane again that year too.
Yeah.
So people were talking about the plane, and people were like, oh shit, they went hard on San Diego. And then other people were trying to like talk shit about like, yeah, but there was nothing in the actual Comic-Con, like everything was outside. And I was like, no, there's pictures of like everyone in the Comic-Con, there's pictures with them and Ray. And I was like, okay. But they were talking about like doing the next one. They talked about New York. New York's the next Comic-Con after San Diego. And they were like, we should do New York. And I was like, guys, if you do New York, I'm in. Like at that point, all I've ever done for the movement is, you know, I donated here and there, and like I did the tweets and stuff like that. To me, that was like not enough for this thing that I, you know, talk about ad nauseum. Like I'm just like always on this shit. So I'm like, all right, I gotta help out. They're coming to New York. I gotta do it a day, at least a day. So I bought my pass already for New York Comic Con, just in case like they did it. And even if it wasn't organized, I was like, I'll just go. I'll just like do my thing over there and like, you know, walk around and everything. And I'm like, I'm not really I'm a very private person. I like the idea of walking around the convention and like going up to people and like taking the pictures and shit was not something I would have like done naturally, you know? So I was like, I'll sign up for it. I signed up for it. Leo signed up for it. Ben signed up for it, and Cole did it. So it was like it was one person each day. Leo did Thursday, and I remember that day. So here I am texting Ben about how to make a fucking sign, and I'm thinking like, all right, I'm gonna like, you know, go up to like, you know, 20 people or whatever, we'll take some photos. Like I'm gonna walk around, like, you know, some people like talk shit or whatever, but like I'm still gonna like, I guess, you know, enjoy the con, whatever that means. I don't even like, at that point I'm not like a con person, so I'm like, I'll just like go around to stuff. And then I also had to, you know, in the background, I don't think it was a secret, but we were trying to get a shirt over to Rob Liefeld. We were trying to get a shirt over to him because at one point or another, the account was like bullshitting with him, and he's like, these shirts look cool, and they're like, all right, we're gonna get you one. And we know what that means at this point, who he's chatting with at that point. So
right.
I'm talking to those people, right, to
get the shirt,
get the shirt over to him. And we needed to do this like scheme because we wanted to get Liz Wonder in there because she's doing the whole thing with Vero. She's doing like this whole cosplay thing, and we were like, how cool would it be? You know, she looks like Wonder Woman. How cool would it be to have Rob with Wonder Woman, holding the sign up and like holding the shirt up? And that's where the video comes from. Right. I took the video of them. And there's a picture too, because they wanted me in the picture. I was like, I don't want to be in it, but whatever. I was there, and I was fucking stunned because me like reading comic, like I grew up in the 90s essentially. So Rob Liefeld to me is like, he drew what I imagine, you know, heroes to look like.
Right.
Like people make fun of his Captain America, but like when he put out that run of Captain America, like that is the only one I've ever read. Like, you know, that sort of shit. And like I remember even there used to be these little trading cards, these X-Men trading cards, and Rob Liefeld did the drawings for them. And they were just like these cards, they're like baseball cards, and they would like show you, you know, the like Wolverine,
right?
And it was just like this decked out like you know, sick looking Wolverine, and that's just like the thing, it's like shiny or whatever. And Rob drew a lot of those, so like to meet Rob, I was like speechless. So we had to set that up. That in my mind is like the focus of the day. I was like, we got to get that done, because that, if we shoot that video and we like put that out there, people are gonna see that. And like we have the billboard the next day, so it's gonna be like this, working with the person that set that up, right?
Right.
Like well, everybody knows Chris
Right,
that set that up. Like,
Or Fiona.
yeah, or Fiona. Chris and Fiona, they like to build. They like to build up. That's why I always like about how they do shit. They like to build it up. Like it's not just you don't just do this one little thing. You build up to it, right?
Right.
So that it's hype as fuck when the big thing comes out. So
Right.
the idea is get the video with Rob, the day before the billboard's gonna go up to hype people up to go look at the billboard. And
Right.
Rob mentions the billboard in the video, and I was like, yeah, mention the billboard because like this shit is gonna like come up tomorrow, and like people are gonna see that, right? So that was my focus. But fucking Leo, he goes out on Thursday and he takes all these like I think Leo, I mean, I haven't really like spoken to him about it, but I think Leo too mentally was like really pissed off about all the people that were like, oh, the ground crew didn't do anything for the San Diego one. So Leo was like, fuck that shit. Because you know him. Like, he's like, fuck that shit. I'm going to take pictures with everybody.
Right.
And my man went around and took so many pictures with everyone around there. And I was like, wow, like, how did he even have time to do all this stuff? So I'm like, all right, I need to do that too. So let me focus on the Rob stuff, and then I'll do that. And the crazy thing about it was that I thought I was going to walk into New York Comic-Con, and I thought I was going to get like a lot of shit because if you remember, like at that point, we still weren't like, it wasn't cool to be part of the Snyder Cut, like supporting. Like that was not, like it was cool to hate on us. Like it was cool to like, still people were trying to get away with throwing out Martha jokes at that point.
Right,
like,
right.
So
they were getting
I
away
thought,
with it too, you know?
Yeah,
exactly. They were fucking, those Marvel guys were killing us at that time.
Yeah. And it's like, so, and oh yeah, because their Avengers was coming out.
Yeah.
Like that was the build up to their movie. Infinity War came out and they were like, oh shit, this is gonna end, blah blah. So they were living big, right?
Right.
And you walk into that's the Comic-Con after Infinity War. So you're gonna walk in there and I'm like, everybody's gonna be a Marvel head in there. Like everybody's gonna give me shit. That was not the case. I think San Diego Comic-Con and everything that they did there, like, you have to give credit to them. They sort of changed the perception, and it was sort of behind the scenes. Like it wasn't super public at that point. That's why we still even thought that people were like hating at that point. But it changed the perception of what this was about because we had to put on the forefront everything that we were doing, in support of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention.
Right.
And that like it's not, we were always doing it. But we realized that, like, you have to say that you're doing this because if you don't promote it, people are gonna say that, like, the money that you put on a billboard, you're just wasting it. And we're like, no, we're not. Like, that's not what we're trying to do.
That's not the plan.
Right. At the end of the day, this is always like, if we don't get the film, which we will get the film. Like, don't worry, don't fucking try to challenge us on that. But if we don't get the film, everything we did had some sort of positive effect. Like it was all about balance. Like we started this whole thing all around balance. Like that was always the case. You can't really do that with tweets, right? Like there's no monetary value to a tweet.
Right.
But when we sell a T-shirt, we're gonna give half to the foundation, and we're gonna do that. So anyway, I'm walking around. All those pictures. There's maybe like 2 or 3 people that I went up to because like I saw their cosplay and I thought it was cool or whatever. Like I take a picture with this guy that's like in this decked out like Lex, like the armor.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm short, so I'm calling him a tall ass dude, but he was a tall ass dude.
Did you see Nosko's joke this morning?
Yeah. I was like, which one? Are you talking to Will or me?
I said something like, yo, short guys, check your email. And Nosko was like, yeah, I think Will and Gio's gonna be checking their email.
I did, and I was like, "There's nothing there."
That shit was funny. All right, keep going. So hold on, I want to ask you. You said you travel the world a lot, and I'm gonna get back on New York Comic Con because I want to get into the billboard and whatever. What is that shit called? Downtown Times Square, right?
Times Square.
But you said you travel around a lot. You do like photography because I see you with like pictures in like all kind of countries. What can you talk about that, or is that off the
I
rip.
can talk about it.
All
I mean, it's not professional in any way, but like, so I travel a lot just because like the job that I do and that I do like keep to myself. But like I work like a tech job, and like anybody that does that, like, you know, I get burned out all the time. So what I like to do is like, you know, I've been at the place that I'm working at for a while now, so I have like a lot of holidays.
Right.
So I essentially like take a month off, you know, once a year.
Damn.
And I just like, you know, fly around. Obviously, I can't do it. Actually, I did squeeze a trip in right before Corona. I always tell people, I'm like, shit, I brought Corona over because I did this big around the world trip in January.
Yeah.
Where I flew from here to Dubai to here to Moscow because I couldn't find like a flight to Dubai that was like straight. So I flew from here to Moscow, and let me tell you something. These flights to Moscow, bro.
God.
I gotta go to Moscow because I don't know what is going on in that country, but the women, whew.
Good, nice.
Good.
Oh,
like,
let's go to Moscow, bro.
Yeah, we gotta go to Moscow. Like, who's the girl? Wow, I'm gonna forget her name. But who's the girl that plays Harley Quinn? Right?
Harley Quinn. Yeah.
Yeah,
Harley
her.
Quinn.
Her. She's like a 6'7" in Moscow.
Wow. Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
man. Because like, and like everywhere I go, like when you like would get above and you start hanging out, if you hang out with rich people or whatever,
Yeah.
there are always like these Russian badass chicks around, bro.
Yeah.
Like a lot of
like,
times.
Yeah, it's weird because like, so having traveled a lot, like you just like you walk around and you just like you notice that like the everyday people what they look like, and that's how it is. And like, and I was only there for like a couple of days, but like like everyday people are like just gorgeous, and I was like, damn, like this is just like the regular women walking around, they're just like gorgeous. Wow. So I flew over anyway, tangent. But I flew to Moscow. Really, the point was to get to Dubai, and Dubai was the start of my trip. And I just want to check out Dubai because I've been to Qatar, where our homie Hamad's from.
Yeah.
And I had a great time there, and I just wanted to check out Dubai. And I told him, I'm honest about this. Like Qatar was better. So if you're gonna go somewhere, go to Qatar, not
really?
Dubai.
And you
Yeah, Dubai's kind of like Vegas. Like Dubai's kind of, but like you can't really drink because it's, you know, super Muslim.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
which
you
one
could, but it's expensive.
you were on the camel in Dubai or Qatar?
Qatar.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, my camel's from Qatar.
That's cool. So yeah, I always wanted to ask you that because your pictures, all of your Instagram is like in another country, you know?
Yeah. I travel a lot, and then like I got into photography like the first time I traveled because my first big trip that I did. So I always like, you know, traveled around. I'm Mexican and Dominican, so like I've always, you know, spent time in Mexico like growing up. Like travel is not new to me. My mom's a travel agent, so like the concept of travel is like something I always did. But when I was like in college, I started to like be the person planning my own trips. So my first big one was over to Japan. That's why you'll see a lot of pictures from Japan because I just like love it there. And going over there, because you know I say like I grew up in the city, but like I grew up in like a specific neighborhood in the city that's like very, and you spent time in the city, like
I used to live there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You used to live in the city, like you know what it is, like your neighborhood becomes sort of like, even though it's the city, like your neighborhood becomes this very like small space that you know.
Right.
Like especially like I grew up in the Heights when it was the hood. It's not really the hood anymore. A lot of people, white people moved in, but we still got the cop cars. But like in that time, you know, it's such a like you knew everybody, right? Like that's sort of like there's sort of this familial like mentality when you grow up in like a neighborhood like that, because everybody's like moms are looking out for everybody else's kids, like make sure that nothing like crazy happens. So you grow up very like tightly with people. So to me, like I still feel like I grew up in the city, but I still have like a small world view. Like I have a very like Washington Heights view of the world. So to go over to Japan, which is like, imagine a city that's like 20 years ahead of where everybody else is, like all this technology and shit, like to the point where the weirdest shit that I see, and I always say this every time I talk about Japan, they all walk on one side of the street, the left side. In some cities, right side. Others is confusing, but they all will walk on one side of the street, and nobody fucks that up. Like, like it's all in that, like, they have the same pace. It's not slow, and like everybody like follows the rules to that point where naturally, even if the street has 3 people, they all walk on the one side of the street almost at the same pace to like keep the order of how the street's moving. So
Damn.
that because their bikes don't go on the street, like where the cars go. Their bikes are on the sidewalk, so they keep that so that the bikes can go in the middle and nobody gets hurt. Like, that's how planned out that city is. So that tripped me out, and I was like, all right, I want to see more of this place. And then you'll go to different places in Japan. They're all like really different. So I go to Japan a lot. I do a lot of travel, but it's all like personal. It's all like recreational. And the photos, like, I just been, I like taking photos, and then I just been progressively doing it more and more. People always ask me, like, are you gonna like do anything to sell them or whatever? But to me, it's sort of just like a hobby. So like, I want to just do it to, do something else that's not my
They
job.
look cool, man. They look cool.
Yeah.
I always see, like, you have a lot of like dark pictures, and so do you do it without a flash? Because like sometimes, that's how to do it. All right. So you don't turn like the shutter all the way down and then just see
what you want to
light.
do is you want to use natural light to light up whatever you're trying to take a photo of. Like, I think as you try to like get better and better at photography, you always want to pick something that is the center of your photo, but you don't want to put it in the middle. It's called like the rule of thirds. But
right.
When you finally decide what you're taking a photo of, right? So a lot of my photos are like landscape, like they're the rectangle, right? So like, I know what I took a photo of, and I'll use the natural light to light that up. And then what you're sort of seeing is like, the reflection of the light on everything else. So that you're able to like take photos at night. I mean, you do need a better camera as well. Like, you can't just do these with your iPhone. And you have to like be strategic with your iPhone about how to do them. It's a little bit harder. But yeah, you just use the natural light to light up spaces within what you're taking a photo of, and it'll come out good. And then what you just do is, I do a lot of photo editing that makes it look a lot better.
Right.
So like, whenever you see whenever you see one of my photos, they're like, I had to edit them and stuff like that. So to really pull out the light and all that. Like, it's not, don't think of it editing like Photoshop. I'm not putting anything in it. I'm just pulling out the natural light that's in the photo because I took it darkly the first time.
They look good, man. They always remind me of
Thanks,
like
man.
Teen Titans. Like, I think Robin is about to come out and fuck somebody up, and you helped Adriana start, because, when I used to tell her, she just used to ask like just random questions about what we do, and I'm just naming shit, and she just was like, oh, I want to do that. But so I used to always tell her, just give it a try, and I'm gonna go show Gio. Show me whatever you got, and I'll show Gio. And that's how I did it. And now she loves that shit, though.
Adriana has a lot of talent. Like, she is very good at, which is something I don't do a lot, but she's very good at portraits and like finding, a person as a subject and really taking them in this right, like they don't feel like they're posing or anything like that. Like, it just feels like this natural photo. It's almost like you want these photos for like, when you're like looking at your family and shit like that, just to like remember them. Like, she takes really good photos. Yeah.
Correct. Well, I'm sure she will appreciate that when she hears it. But what's next? This is Gio's fucking thing. So check this out. We probably gonna have to jump out and jump back in. You know how it is. Okay. So we're gonna act like we got a word from our sponsors. But since we have
a commercial,
I got Will's coming in right after this.
Okay.
All right, don't worry.
Stop for a word from our sponsors.
Yeah, and then I'll request you again, and we just finish it up.
Okay.
All right.
Hi there. My name is Will Rowlands, and I am not a paid actor. But when I do drink a cup of tea over here in sunny England, well, when it's sunny, I always and will only drink from my Go Deep mug. Life is so much clearer when you go deep.
Will Rollins is not a paid actor, and this Go Deep mug will not make your day clearer. But if you do know anyone suffering from the lack of a Go Deep mug, please hit the link at the bottom. Prices do not vary, and this will not have any adverse effects on you. Get it?
All right, we are back from a word from our sponsor, and somebody might have had to smoke a little bit of something else, but we're back. Headed to part 2 of this conversation. So, Gio, we were into your pictures, but I want to get back into New York right now. So,
Okay.
New York Comic-Con that turned into you kind of become a star with Rob's picture and
Yeah. So I put out Rob's picture and Rob's picture and his video, and I was running around trying to like figure out how to like do that during the day because his manager he kept like sending me emails and texting me. He's like, dude, let's get this picture out, like let's, because he had a signing later that day, and I was like, all right, let me figure this out because there's no signal in the Javits Center, and I had to get it from my camera to the phone, and I usually like to edit them a little bit, but like I couldn't. So figuring that out, I had to leave the con and go like 3 blocks away to even be able to like do this shit.
Damn.
But I did it. I sent it over. But this whole time that I'm walking around, like seriously, like, and I tried to like say this in the tweets because like the concept was just insane at the time. Everyone was stopping me and saying, yo, you guys do you. I want to take a photo with the thing. And like everybody was hyping up the Snyder Cut. And
nice.
People were all about like supporting it, and they would see it, and then even the people that were hating on it, they were like, all right, but like and they would come and stop and have a conversation with me. And you know, Ben, awesome as Ben, send me all these like pamphlets to hand out to people and buttons, and I would just stop them for like 2 minutes, and I'd run them through like what we were doing. I'd be like, look, you know, it's not really about the movie, it's about like, you know, what happened to Zach is fucked up, and it's gonna keep happening. Like it just happens to everybody's films. Like you should support this too. Like I'm sure you like whatever directors are in the MCU, and you don't want their vision to get fucked up. And I'm not gonna go into whether or not Disney does that or not, but like you don't want that to happen, right? So it was that sort of conversation, and everybody was for it. Like there's a picture I put out with this team of dudes dressed as Spider-Man. And they were because at that time, what's the name of that kid that plays Spider-Man? Tom Holland. I call him Spider Child. Tom Holland, he got the boot at that point, or he got the boot from the MCU. So they were like, we're gonna keep making your movies, but they're not gonna be MCU movies. And they were all like petitioning for that. They're like, no, we like it being in the MCU. And I'm like, all right, you know, that's what you like. I've gotten my Spider-Man. You know, Amazing Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield, like that's my Spider-Man. But I'm like, I got mine, it got cut short, but whatever, I got 2 good movies out of it. Like now it's you guys, and I would be upset if they try to change what that Spider-Man is. Like that Spider-Man is an MCU Spider-Man.
Right.
So we had all this support, and I'm running around, I'm taking these photos, and I didn't put any of them out because I was just gonna drop them the way Leo dropped them, because I was like, the way that he did it was epic. Like he just, at the end of the day, he just kept tweeting, and he kept responding. So he did like a tweet thread, I think they call it, and he just kept responding. And it would be like, because back then it was still like, oh, these 10 people that support the Snyder Cut. So he was, and I think it ended, it was like, well, I guess we have 100 more supporters or something like that. And I was like, all right, let's do that shit again. So I'm posting them, and I'm responding to it, and that it was awesome, like just to see that. And then Ben, like he came through the next day. He didn't take as many photos, but he went and got photos with like Scott Snyder, and like he got photos with like big names. And there were other big names that support us. Like, I guess I could say this, whatever. Like, let his people come after me. I was talking to Neil Adams because I saw him sitting there. He was doing a signing. And for anyone that doesn't know, like, to me, when I think about Batman, when I think about the classic Batman, it's Neil Adams. Like, he does like the blue suit and all that shit.
Right.
I saw Neil Adams, and he was eyeing the sign. So I was like, fuck it. Let's see what happens. And he, like, if anybody that knows him, like, he's kind of like a crusty old dude. but like, I was like, fuck it. Like, look, I'm gonna buy this. Like, I wanted a print that he was selling anyway, so I'm like, I'm gonna buy this print. I'm gonna walk up to him. If he asked me, whatever. Like, I'm not gonna be a dick about it. And we had like an exchange about what was going on, and he was all for it. And I was like, dude, can I take a picture? He's like, nah. he was selling them, and in all fairness, like all those old comic book heads, like like you don't get paid for doing comics. Like I think the only people, like even fucking Stan Lee had to like fight for his money to so it's like you don't get paid. So I never feel bad, or I never take it personally when these guys are like asking for money for their pictures and shit. Like this is the one opportunity a year that they get to like make anything, so whatever. And I was like, that's fair. But anyway, he was a supporter. He was like all for it. He's like, I like Zach's films. And I'm like, damn, like when you talk up to the real people, when you're not on Twitter, when you're talking in the real world, like people just love Zach's shit. And they were all for this. Like there was nothing bad about what we were doing. At the end of the day, like if it wasn't just about a movie, it was about, you know, sort of how the Hollywood engine worked. And also like doing good shit along the way with supporting these, you know, these charities and shit. So coming out of that, I came out of like, I would say that going into the Comic-Con, I was like sort of, you know, just a tweeter and like just doing things here and there. And I came out of that, I was like, I want to do more and more. Like I want to do as much as I can. Like what can we got to go all in on this shit.
Right.
Or like every day wearing the shirt so that, you know, people stop me in Brooklyn and are like, yo, what is this thing that you're wearing? Like true story. That happens all the time.
Yep. Me too with the hat. All the time. People want to read it. And like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and I'm like, and I give them the little thing, and I'm like, that's the idea of a movement, man. This is little by little, person by person, and then we get to the point where like somebody sees the bill. I mean, the billboard was the next day, but somebody sees that billboard, they know what it is. So all that was going through, and the whole time I'm telling everybody at the con, like, tomorrow, go up to Times Square, see what you're gonna see. Right. The thing was up, the billboard was up all day. Like it was basically, I don't know how many people got to see it in person, but it was basically like every 20 seconds it was rotating in. And it was like 5 different advertisements that were rotating through, and they were all like this stupid shit. Like it was like, you know, get your toe jam cleaned or some shit like that. Like that sort of like advertising. Yeah, and then it was the Snyder Cut, and then the Snyder Cut video was like 20 seconds long too, because it was like 4 different ones. Like they, you know, if you've seen it, like there's 4 different things that are rotating in. And then the most epic shit about it was that they didn't have a movie that they were advertising at the time, which it would have been fucking amazing if they did. But that billboard was directly facing the space that WB takes out every single time they put out a movie. It's like when you think about Times Square, right? There's 2 V's, right? Where like the square becomes a square. So there's the big V that everybody knows, where the tickets are, where you can buy the and it says tickets and stuff like that. So there's that, and then there's the other V where the ball drops, which I guess would argue is the bigger V, right? But it's only like important. It's only important during New Year's, and you look up. But so the big V where the ball drops, that's where WB puts their sign. And Chris said that he didn't know that this was across from it, but our billboard was directly facing it. So if you're standing where the billboard for WB usually is, you're looking directly at our billboard for Release the Snyder Cut.
And Chris said he didn't know that? Chris said he didn't know that?
Oh, you didn't know that. And then the other big thing was like anybody, so that's, you know, not a big tourist area right now, but like when New York City's open, like everybody that goes to New York goes there. And what people will usually do is that there's Bryant Park, and people go, like when you go to Times Square, it's just like exhausting to be there. So you just go to Bryant Park, you get something to eat, something like whatever. That block that faced the billboard is the block that you walk down. You walk over to Bryant Park. So anybody that was coming back from Bryant Park going to Times Square was seeing it. And like, that's a lot of people that were seeing it.
That's a lot of people.
And it was in their eye view. Like you could see the billboard pretty much all the way to Grand Central. Like maybe that's a little excessive, but like a block after
people could see it, right?
An avenue after Grand Central, because it's so big, like you could see it. So that's a lot of, like, that was solid real estate to have. And then later on, we know when we talked to Sean, you know, we heard some strong hints about what that billboard did to set up November 17th. And, you know, we talked to some people around there too. And I looked it up. It's the RTSC Files, the podcast that they're going to put out. you'll hear a lot about that. You'll hear more about that, and I'll let them go through.
Yeah,
They're gonna
yeah,
do
yeah.
the history of everything, but
Right.
yeah, when they put that out, but we've heard strong hints that billboard changed the fucking game.
Changed the game.
Like
Changed the
when
game.
that billboard went up, we went from AA baseball to the majors.
Majors,
We were in.
Right. Definitely. Shout out to Hamad on that one also. He did a lot of help with that, and he always minimize it and say, "Yeah, I'm just giving my credit card." But somebody to do that, I mean, that was huge, man.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, absolutely. Like Hamad and Jeff's money, like we would, because the thing is like if you followed the way that the donations were working, until they started to like put down money, did people not feel comfortable like donating?
Yeah, because it was always like it was a trickle, and then there was like what I think Will had it where like level 1 or tier 1, and then tier 2 can get us this, and
right.
It was always like, oh shit, man, we need tier 1. Call up Hamad real quick, We need tier 2. Call Hamad up again,
He would do like a tier by himself.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. He would just take care of a whole tier. And it was like, thanks, Hamad, And he plays it so humble, and it's like, or think about Ramesh drawing, the stuff, or think about Nasco. He did a lot of shit too.
People do not understand what Ramesh did for us, like especially now because so many artists are like coming out. And shout out to them. There's so many amazing artists in the movement. But prior to that, it was it was Ramesh. Like putting out art almost every day. That's not easy to do. Like Ramesh's art is fucking spectacular. Just go through the history, just see how many pieces he puts out, where you can like find 365 pictures because he was doing shit 365 days a year. And think about anything, like even doing a logo. Doing a logo is not easy. To do the New York Comic Con, like that t-shirt's iconic because they made the New York Comic Con logo better by putting Release the Snyder Cut on it. Like I don't remember what the New York Comic Con logo looks like, but I do remember the Release the Snyder Cut one that we stole from them.
Exactly. And Ramesh, I always I want to shout him out forever. He has to go down in history, But there's a lot of.
You mentioned Will really quick, but I also want to throw out like a shout out to him because people forget. And again, why I was stressing that like to do this fundraising wasn't easy is because we've had so many people try to make money out of the movement that it was hard to get people to trust that this effort was going to do what it's going to do. Just think about like the fact that
100%.
one account was going to raise, at one point we had to raise $26,000, I think, for one of the things, I think for San Diego, maybe. Well, one of them was like a shit ton of money that we had to raise.
Right.
Just think about that, like to trust someone to do it, and the way that they did it, like the way that Will promoted it, like you felt comfortable, it made sense. It was very honest with everything that was going through. And then the system that they all set up, everybody that set up, I don't know if they want to like get a shout out, but like, because I know they wanted to do it in the background, but like the system that they set up to make sure that the money went where it went, where if anybody ever asked anything, like anybody wanted to check, like the paperwork's there, like that shit was smart. Yeah, that shit was smart. So I, shout out to Will for being part of that, and all the other people that were part of it that they like to stay in the background. But shout out to them.
Definitely. So I hear you say, like, all right, real life movement is different than Twitter movement. What, so people in real life they show love. So I guess in Twitter they don't show love, or
for the longest time it was like that. For the longest time, Twitter, and I think even now, I mean. I don't know how much you want to go into what's going on now on Twitter. I'll talk.
Yeah, say what you gotta say. All right.
Questions. I'll answer them. But let me answer your first question.
All right.
Definitely when I talk about interactions with the Release the Snyder Cut movement, I've gotten so much more love in person. Like I'm not a celebrity in New York or whatever, but like I'm to a point where people fucking stop me all the time because I'm just wearing the shirts and shit.
Yeah.
And I'm out and about, and like every time I've not had a bad experience. Like I'm not lying. Like everybody that comes up to me is like, it's a good conversation. I'll have like, I remember even on Christmas, the night of Christmas, we went to this bar in, I think around where Abu Nas like grew up, around Fort Greene, or
Oh,
like
all
somewhere
right.
around there.
Damn.
Yeah.
Thugging it, huh?
Yeah. I was out there. We were doing karaoke. It was fun. We were doing all these like R&B hits from the '90s. I had a good time.
Oh, good. Damn. Hey, don't hurt my boy's reputation in Fort Greene, you know?
I mean, when I was listening to the podcast, it was like, Abu, when's the last time you've been there? Because a lot of white people moved into Fort Greene.
Yeah, hey, don't hurt my guy's reputation. They still thugging it. I got to put on my black hoodie for that, dog. All right.
I was out there. I was out there. We were you know, just having a few drinks. That's how I do Christmas, you know. I spend Christmas with my family.
Right.
But so we were out there, and I had a fucking hour-long conversation with this couple, because they were just like, these two girls, they came up and they're just like, what is that shirt? Because I think one of them was maybe into like occult shit or whatever. You know that one, the one shirt that like all the God shirt.
Yeah.
When you look at that shirt, it's got like, it just like, bro, if you don't know what that is, it looks like some weird like occult shit or whatever.
It is. It's layer. It's like there's some occult shit in there. Trust me, but it's like layer. You just gotta be deep to see it, you know.
Yeah. So this girl comes up to me with her. I think it was her wife, and the wife was bored for a second, and I brought her in too, and I was like, we were talking about everything. I told them about the charity work and everything, and they donated the next day. I don't remember what we were doing at the time, but they donated to something. That's that cool, like I gave them a link, and they were like, they put it in, and I put out a tweet to them, and yeah, like to the point, like I'm serious. Like you walk around, like you're wearing these shirts, like people they're impactful. Like people know what they are, especially the ones that Zach designed. Like the ones, I forget the dude's name that does his designs, but they're crazy shirts. But yeah. So real world, I definitely gotten way more love for the Snyder Cut stuff than I used to get in Twitter. Now Twitter's a little bit better after November 17th, but still we get bloggers hating it from time to time.
Yeah, why is that though? Because you're kind of like out in front of that. You know a lot. Like you kind of talk to Sean like it's personal. You know what do you think those blue checks come? Because he came from like the Marvel side, right? So
yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna rope Sean into this because the way that he does journalism isn't this. And that's why I have a lot of respect for him.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to rope him in, but I'm asking, like, with the blue checks, and you can kind of see it already. People talking shit already.
And this is all allegedly, right? So, I think what's happening is that a lot of these blue checks, like, I don't think that they get paid to write their reviews, but I think they get treated very well if their reviews are good. You know what I mean?
Like bribing, kind of?
Yeah, unofficial. Like, think about it this way. Like, how many press screenings do they get to go to if they write better reviews versus worse reviews?
Hell yeah.
And it might even be, like, not even that. Like, how many views do they get on YouTube if their video is whatever the popular opinion is versus the unpopular opinion?
Correct.
So you look at someone like it's not Fatal J. Fatal J is an awesome man. Who is the guy? I don't even remember his name. The guy that we had to kick off Twitter because he was like saying Yay Fisher allegedly.
Corbin?
No, not Corbin.
What is somebody was saying gay Fisher?
Who's the guy that went after Film Gob?
Oh yeah, fucking fat Jody. Yeah.
Jody, fat Jody.
Yeah, I couldn't think of his name. I always think.
Sorry, Jay. I the only reason that I thought that was his J Jody, like
right. No.
Like, yeah.
All right, I get it.
But anyway, fucking Jody. You look at him and you look at his other friend Andy Signori. Like they both make views, aka bank, off of like being haters because that is what, I don't know, like it hypes up nerds. I don't get it. Like they like to watch these videos where they're just like talking shit about comic books, like because at the end of the day they're like comic book movies, right? Like I don't understand the idea of making a video to hate on something,
right?
Because why did you sit through it to begin with? Like my videos, if I ever like had a video channel, I would just be like, I saw this movie, I liked it. Let me tell you why I liked it. I would never be like, I saw this movie, I fucking hated it, so I watched it 10 times to be like, here, this is why I fucking hate it.
And then they go make a whole video and say they hate it and then talk for years. But it's like, damn, dog, all right, we heard you didn't like the movie. Why are you still talking to us? You know, why do they still, like, yesterday I saw somebody put up this little thing that said.
Now for sure, what they do is that anytime you tweet Snyder Cut, period, you're getting at least 2,000 tweets out of that.
Yeah.
Like guaranteed.
Right.
Guaranteed.
Right.
And whether they're hate tweets or not hate tweets, that still is 2,000 tweets of attention. So to them, that is like, you know, again, that's clicks.
Right. That's
because
exactly
for the longest time, you know, the movement would click into the video to be like, all right, well, we're hating it. This is why we're hating it. And they watch the fucking thing and then they go onto Twitter and like tweet about it. But I'm like, you gave them a fucking view. Like the the commercial on YouTube, you're still gonna get it. The ad, they're still gonna get that ad revenue.
You're still gonna get the money.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So they don't care. So I think that's why they do it. Like I think that the OG hate for Zach is that a lot of these like people like Hector, for example, Hector Navarro, they come with this like idea of like these comic books for kids essentially. So they want like this holy like this, you know, this perception. They want something like Shazam where it's like, you know, feel good about your life, sort of like, you know, vapid fucking movie that you put out there that's just fun. Like they want it to be fun. And like I don't like the perception that like Zach's films aren't fun. I think they're fun as hell. Like the action in them are like it's amazing. Like you look at the warehouse scene and you telling me you didn't have fun watching that. Like that is fun to watch.
Exactly. They hate her. So
I don't think it's that. I think it's just like they're trying to keep this like, I don't know, like this. I don't even know what it is because they're not religious. Like, but it seems like this sort of like Christian values like thing that they're trying to keep with like the comic books, and like that's not comic books. Like especially for the people that like they're all around my age, right? So they're like 30, 35, like 30 to 35. I'm 32. I don't care.
Right.
But so that means that they grew up with comics from the 90s that I grew up with, and that shit was violent as fuck. It was super sexualized. Like there was this girl, Witch something, where she's not wearing anything. She just has like this little green line. Like have you seen those?
No, I never.
Like
seen
that was a big hero from, I think from Image Comics. Like that was one of the big heroes in the 90s. Like she's not wearing anything. I think they almost made a movie about her.
Damn.
But yeah,
I would love that.
like the comics from the 90s are not the fucking comics from like the 70s that they're trying to like put out there. So I don't know where it comes from, but like that scene, that group, they're all about that shit. And that group somehow or another, like they dominate sort of the blogger space and the sort of YouTube space of, I guess, comic book shit. Like to this day, they still like pull up Hector to like do shit. And I'm like, is he representative of like, can't you find someone else? Like, like there's so many, we know so many people that like do podcasts, you know, about comic book shit. Like you can't pull somebody like why isn't Film God being pulled out to do like fucking just movie shit? Like he's got a great personality. He does really funny work. Like I would love for him to get like a contract or something.
Hell yeah.
Why don't they do that? You know?
I agree. I think it's like some more of Zack Snyder hate, but look at Film God. He's just busting right through it. His subscribers keep going up and up and up, and his content is getting better, you know? Even I like Film God. So what do you think they feel about Fandom yesterday? Was it a good reception or what?
I gotta be honest. All I saw yesterday was the Snyder Cut panel. And I saw it because I gotta see my girl Fiona up there.
Fiona,
Dude, I teared up watching her there. I was like, this is the way that like and no disrespect to the people that were there, you know, when the announcement was made, or no disrespect to Dexter either, but like Fiona, like seeing Fiona talk to Zach, that's some shit that we waited, you know, just as long as we waited for the film. And yeah, I would have wanted to see like, because we may or may not know that interview was longer, so I would have wanted to see the whole thing. But we got what we got, and I'll take that.
Yeah.
But I don't know what they feel about it. I think at this point, people are afraid to hate on the Snyder Cut. I think there's a lot of that. Like, I think, they call it like being toxic or whatever. I call it like, if you're gonna throw punches, you gotta be ready to get
right,
back at you.
exactly, dog.
Because it's not like
exactly.
anybody comes to us with a very like, thoughtfully written, like insightful piece about how Zack Snyder's films just aren't good or whatever. They're not going through like the technical of it. They write this stupid ass shit trying to like,
make us look crazy, insult us, and all kind of shit.
Yeah. And if we bounce back, we bounce back. That's what it is. Like what the tweet that fucking Zach put out to Scott Mendelsohn, I'm like, exactly.
Right.
That is fucking it. Like, go watch your fucking Saturday morning cartoons. And shut the fuck up.
Who's this Scott Mendelsohn dude? I always see Zach kind of say stuff to him.
He's an OG hater. He's an OG hater, and I don't know why. Like Zach, he must have said something that Zach picks him out, but this is like the second or third time that Zach he put out a response to it. He's like, I don't know why you like pick me. Like, I'm like, take your L and shut up. Like, I wouldn't even. When a director puts out a tweet like that, you just don't even say anything. Like, you take a week off.
Yeah, you turn Twitter off for a while, bro. You turn it off. You come back with a burner like Abdul.
Because he got you.
So shit. All right. So you didn't see the Pattinson Batman? I mean, a lot of people was talking shit about that, but that trailer, that shit kind of looked good, dog.
I did see the trailer. It's not doing it for me. It's a little like, it looks like a fucking, just the designs are a little, to me, they look like they're filming some S&M film. Cause like, I still like the way the Riddler looks and shit. I'll put it this way. I think that is, and a buddy of mine was really hyped about it. I think that's a Batman that a lot of people have been wanting to see. Right. I see it and I'm like, I feel like we already kind of got this, and like I'm still salty about the Ben Affleck thing. Like, I'd much rather see him have a 2-hour film, and I'm trying to separate that because I do like Robert Pattinson as a actor. Like, it's funny that everybody keeps making fun of him for Twilight, but I'm like, nah, chill. Go watch his other movies. Like, he's done really good movies. Yeah. He did a movie recently. What was it called? Get Out? No, it's not Get Out. I don't know, something. He did some movie with the Safdie brothers. Look that up. Like the guys that did the movie with Adam Sandler. You know, that one with the diamonds. With Kevin Uncut Gems. Yeah. Those guys that did that movie, they did a movie with Robert Pattinson. I'm not remembering. A Good Time. Good Time is the name of the movie. I haven't seen that movie. Like, Robert Pattinson fucking kills it in that. So he's a good actor. Like, I think he's gonna do a good job. The suit looks better now in that trailer than it did in when I thought the helmet was just all leather and shit. Like, that was weird. I think they put like something behind it to make it more look like a helmet, which that makes sense. Yeah.
The head part looks weird though. That front head part.
Yeah.
It looks a little weird. I don't know. But you're right. I don't know. I guess. No.
I think. All right. So what I was trying to get to.
All right. My bad.
I think it's a Batman film that a lot of people have been waiting for. I just personally am over it. But again, I'm a Superman guy, so I think that's a Batman film for Batman fans. Mm-hmm. And then Ben Affleck is more of like a general, like what I've always liked about Batman. That's why I always sort of gravitated towards him.
I think the Ben Affleck one will be better though. I mean, Robert Pattinson, I don't know, man. I mean, it looked good. It kind of reminded me of Batman Begins a little bit much, but I think, I know for sure I would want to see Ben Affleck movie more than I would want to see any Batman movie. Yeah, and at this point we don't have the Ben Affleck one, so I'll just watch this thing, I guess. I don't know. So
I'm more excited for whatever the next movie is because it looks like he's building a world. Mm-hmm. So I'm also like, I don't want to watch that first movie in whatever arc anymore because I'm also falling just off comic book stuff. So the second movie that he does in this world, I'll be excited for that. Like whatever he's gonna end up doing there. Yeah, it seems like he's trying to build something. So like if he achieves that, he builds out this world, I'll watch whatever the next one is.
Right. All right. So what about is it Shazam universe or is it the Black Adam universe now?
I'll watch Black Adam.
All right. So Black Adam, he's in the Shazam universe or is he making his own universe?
I don't know. I think he's in I think they're trying to sell it like he's in the Snyderverse. And I think they also tried to sell that Shazam was in the Snyderverse. But I think predominantly he's going to be in the Shazam universe. But then one of the tweets that The Rock put out yesterday that he's going to go up against, he's highly suggested that he was going to go fight Superman.
Yeah, so that's the Snyderverse.
Yeah, so that's the Snyderverse. And that's Henry Cavill. Even though we didn't get a head on him, that was Henry Cavill's suit.
Yeah. Right.
And then all the the little nods were all like nods to Zach's character. So I don't know. But I'll watch it just because I watch any stupid Rock movie that goes out. I love Hobbs and Shaw.
Have you seen Reno 911 Goes to Miami when Rock was like in the beginning? Oh, it's a stupid. No. He has like a little cameo at the very beginning, but it's fucking hilarious. Let me see. What did you think about the Snyder Cut shit? Did you watch the trailer? Of course.
I watched the whole thing. That trailer is. I'm saying this, and I'm like, I don't. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm just like too hyped for this, but it's the best trailer I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Am I overhyped? I don't want to say that because then people are gonna be like, "Man, you're just standing. You're overhyped." But
I'm gonna watch some of the other trailers that I really like, but I'm like, nah, that was perfect because he didn't really reveal anything that we didn't know. Most of the scenes are scenes that he's either put out pictures for or through the process of like us doing this, like he had to talk about it in some form. So seeing Desaad, like we knew he was in the movie, so to get to see him ahead of time, I think is worth it. And like at the end of the day, what'll happen is somehow it'll leak. So I'd rather see it in the trailer. It looked glorious in that trailer.
Right.
Seeing fucking Euxis, like I might be pronouncing that wrong, but seeing Euxis in the beginning is like, that's insane because that's not what Darkseid's gonna look like. Like that's Darkseid's pre-form, right?
That's
So he's gonna have like the decked out armor and all that shit, right? And he already looks fucking badass.
Yeah,
like,
he does.
Like fucking like to open the trailer with that axe, like it looks insane. And you know they're gonna do a little bit more on the CGI to make it like fit more.
Right.
But to open it like that, I thought using the song and like if you go on Twitter, the smarter people than me, they've sort of broken down how the song breaks down the scene. That it's like the lyrics of the song are alluding to things that are happening in the scene. So I was like, oh, that's dope, and that's some Zach ass shit. And everyone's like, oh, like he already used that song. I'm like, he used the song in a movie. Right. So this is different. Like I don't know if this song's even gonna be in the movie. This is just to hype up the trailer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So and even if he's gonna reuse it, like if Junkie wants to put it in, Junkie will do some crazy shit with it. So I'm all for it.
Right. Who cares? Yeah. Fuck it, though. Yeah. It looked great. You know?
Yeah. So I thought it looked great. Fucking Steppenwolf.
Mm-hmm.
That armor, that like vibrating armor.
Yeah.
I was like,
the black suit. Did you see that scene where Superman's like hovering over the building and Amy Adams looking at him?
Did you see the scene where Steppenwolf and Superman are colliding?
Yeah. It's supposed to look like yin and yang.
Yeah. I saw that. Yeah. So I was hyped as fuck, and then ending it the way that it ends with Batman being the leader of the Justice League, which he wasn't in that monstrosity that came out.
Right.
So to see that, like, no, like this was the intention always, because they were trying to pass off like, and they were just on their bullshit. They were trying to pass Wonder Woman as a leader, and like she is one of the leaders of the Justice League, but Batman is the leader of
Batman
the Justice League.
is the leader, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I that trailer was hype. Like that trailer was worth every fucking second of whatever we did to make that come out.
Hell yeah, I agree. Let me ask you this.
What do you think about?
Go ahead. You ask me a question. What's up?
What do you think about the title, the Snyder Cut?
I mean, yo, I don't care. They can call that bitch Yabba Dabba Doo, and I think we would still call it the Snyder Cut, dog. You know, it could be titled anything, and then we'll still call it, oh, this is Snyder Cut. You know, one of my homeboys today, I put it on Twitter. This is a thug dude, you know. No, I put it on Instagram, and this dude in the streets, blah, blah, blah. He was like, yo, is that the Snyder Cut? It's like he don't know shit about what we're talking about, but he knows it's the Snyder Cut. So if they do it official or not, because I saw somewhere HBO Max did last night. They said something like Zack
It
Snyder's
says the
Justice
director's cut of Justice League.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but no, I think the Snyder. So there's a lot going around about like Zack wanted to call it Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's why he put out the merch and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I think what happened was that, and this is just my theory, calling it the Snyder Cut is a nod to how that film came into place. Like that's Zack sort of looking at us and saying, if it wasn't for the Snyder Cut movement, this movie wouldn't exist. So what other name can you give it than the Snyder Cut? Like that is just like, at least me, until somebody proves me wrong, I'm gonna look at that name forever and be like, I was part of this movie.
Right.
Like it's better than any fucking credit that we can get. Like, yeah, we have the associate producer shirts or whatever. That's cool.
Right.
But just the idea that the name of the film essentially says like you were part of making this film.
Yep.
Like
that
immortalizes it, and I think look at it that way. Like I don't think we're at a point now where like Zack is like losing battles with like HBO or anything like that. Like this is his baby. Like he's just doing whatever he wants at this point. So I think there's probably more to it. He mentioned like the legal stuff, but I'm like, I think if he wanted to call it Zack Snyder's Justice League, he could.
Right.
So but yeah, so that's the way I'm looking at it. But either way, whatever the fuck it's called, you're right. I was gonna call it the Snyder Cut.
And it's good, it can potentially branch off to so much shit. You might see Jared Leto, shine in these movies. You might see more Ben Affleck
saw the
shine.
Joker card.
Right.
We saw the Joker card last
night.
night.
So we might have done so much more, not even just the Snyder Cut, but it might be some Ben Affleck shit or some Jared Leto shit, or maybe Cyborg, maybe Ray Fisher gets some calls now because they keep trying to say, oh, he's a Broadway actor, but maybe if he looks good in this movie, then.
Nah, he was awesome in True Detective. I think it's called True Detective. Something like that. He did some HBO show. True Detective, something like that. The series that Matt McConaughey was on. You know how they do like every year they do like a.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I can't remember the name, but I do want to say Ray Fisher. Yeah, we saw you with a hoodie on yesterday. This is the hoodie you're supposed to be wearing, Ray Fisher. Just so
Fisher, let us know.
Yeah,
let us know. We'll send those. We'll send one over to you.
Yeah, we'll definitely send one to you. See,
and we don't really do celebrities on this show because we like to interview, the people of the movement. But technically, you're one of the people of the movement, so we'll let you come on. We'll let you come on if you want.
Right. You see why this guy has a job? Because he just talks so much better than everybody else. I'm like, yo, Ray Fisher, get a fucking hoodie, and he's like, yo, Ray Fisher. Peely, slow down. So tell me this, what do you see for the future? This will be the last question. What do you see for the future of the not only DCEU, but the Snyder Cut movement and, us in general,
There's been some interesting conversations where like people have said, and I think this is still a discussion that we have even amongst ourselves. People I think know now that we have a little chat going on. But yeah, I think even amongst ourselves is a conversation. But like people have said, well, the movement's over, right? Because the movement, we released the Snyder Cut. Like the movement sort of revolved around like getting this thing out, and now, if things want to branch off of the movement and like move forward, like. The Snyderverse or something like that, that's a whole new thing. Like the movement is called Release the Snyder Cut, and the Snyder Cut is now released, right? So in that sense, I'm sort of starting to like understand that and sort of conceptualize that. To me, I was just like, I want to keep fighting for directors' visions. Like, I want to see the air cut. I want to see all this stuff that like we know is out there and is done. And then more importantly than anything, I want to keep doing like good work. But the problem is, and we have to be realistic about this, is that the reason we were able to do so much good work was because we had this like definitive goal that we were going to. If we become this aimless movement that says, all right, well, we just want like director's cuts, we're not going to be able to like do the amount of like fundraising that we did before. There's no reason. Like the reasoning for it is not solid, and
Right.
that is an important thing to get people to donate. Just think
Right.
about the fact that we had so many internet, like Hamad, for example, like him alone, he unfortunately, like the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention doesn't help people in Qatar. He's not helping people in his country. The good work that he's doing is for people here in the US, and that's amazing that we're doing work for people in the US, but this isn't a global organization when we are a global movement. So just the idea of where this goes, like I think if we want to expand, I think we need to fully expand and do more. I know that you trying to do some stuff later. I don't know if I'm allowed to announce it or not.
Yeah, we're going global. We're gonna help some people out, but
Yeah.
right now, like you were saying, with because we were thinking we're gonna hit everybody up with a different charity and this, that, other, but we gotta rein it in a little bit more and get this shit more legal and get this shit more official and all this shit before. But we do want to help. We're gonna help global. Right now, we're just giving to the right. Go ahead.
That's the thing, though, right? Like when you think about it, like, all right, I'm saying that the movement's dead, but is it dead? Like the movement was an idea, right? The movement was when you try to have a goal for something, you have to bring positive energy with what you're doing. So that idea has gravitated into anything where even when you were going to put out your merch, like you could have just put out your merch.
Right.
Like I don't like when we were talking about it, I was like, I don't see the need for you to like tie this to the American Foundation. Like I don't see the need for you to donate 25% because it's your merch for your show. Like your show is one of the few shows out of like that. First of all, your show didn't come out of the movement. You had your show before the movement. You pulled the show into the movement to promote it. Like now we're sitting here, like the movement doesn't promote the show for us. The show did it, like the show and the movement sort of tied themselves together and it's sort of like a mutual agreement of like pulling people in. And even like this burst of like, we've spent the last 2 months when you and I have been working together of like pulling in people from across the movement to interview them. We're not doing that for ourselves. We just did a couple of them and we were like, we keep talking to these random people and they have like all these crazy stories and people love it. People want to hear it. So let's just keep doing it. Like go deep doesn't always have to be go deep on aliens.
Right?
We can go deep into Vega. We can go deep into Alvin. We can go deep into all these people, right? So that isn't because we want to push the movement, because if you look at like, and no offense to like Vega or whatever, like we're not going up to the most prominent people in the movement. Even like you've already done those interviews before they were the most prominent people in the so but we're not going up to like we're just going up to like people that like, you know, we see them doing, like the one with Jessix that I set up. Like I did that because I was so just amazed by that campaign that he did for Batman the first time, and I heard he was doing another one and I was like, dude, let's bring you on. And then like I just threw out the idea, like let's premiere your video, and he was all about it, and I was like, all right, let's do it. Like I think that'll be fun. So it's not like we're you know, I don't think that you're using the movement to like promote yourself. And again, like I don't think that that's bad either. I'm not gonna go into that. Like if people want to do that, that's cool. Like the movement needs their own podcast. Like with the Snyder Cut, RT Snyder Cut is doing with the roundtables, like that's cool, right? And that's sort of in the same vein where like they're bringing in people from across the movement to talk to each other and talk about these topics. But anyway, so you didn't need to do the 25%, but you did that because the idea of like now it's sort of ingrained into all of us. We're like, why would we just make cash for ourselves? Or, like the show needs money funding to like expand, but it doesn't need to, like we can build in this 25% and that could just be naturally how it expands, right? Like we can build in like how it's doing. So why don't we do that? And now you're doing it. And you see that everywhere. Like everyone is sort of like saying to themselves, how do we do good work with what we're doing? How do we tie those two goals together? So in that sense, the movement is ever present and like I think gonna just keep growing. And I think like whenever anybody else tries to like push for another film, they're gonna want to do the same thing. Like our homies that are pushing for the Alita sequel. Yeah, they're doing all sorts of awesome work for people with disabilities. Like that is amazing shit. The people pushing for the Air Cut, they're doing a lot of work for our veterans that like get no love, man. Like right now, you know, that's a hurting group, you know, and
Right.
they're doing a lot of work for them. So I think that's how the movement moved forward. Like I think the movement sort of then just became part of all of us. And as we branch off and do whatever we're doing, it's gonna stay part of that. But I don't know if like the actual Release the Snyder Cut movement, I guess that is over. Like I guess that does make sense that that is over, and we sort of have to like create new things to move forward. But so like that's my answer.
That was perfectly said, man. You speak really well, and I think like I saw Gob saying something about doing some T-shirts, and you know he's always had merch, and a lot of people did. But once we start getting this going, yeah, we're gonna try to like people with disabilities or people with you know, veterans with disabilities or you know mental health or anything like that. Once we're gonna donate to all of those guys. You know, like there's not gonna be a charity that we're not going to want to focus on, because I think our time on this planet is to try to help the planet and help the world. So what we're doing now, you know, we're doing 25% to these things, but also the money we make in this with this merchandise shit is going to help the show go on. You know, the money we make is also, let's say we want to have an event and Hamad can't come through and put us to the next tier. We got some merch money that can put us to the next tier. Or, you know, if we need to rent out a event plaza somewhere, there's going to be so much shit. But my thing, and I know your thing, we're about keeping shit going, you know? So if y'all fund us, we're going to make it happen, you know?
Yeah. And when we say events too, like we don't want to just like donate money to like charities. We want to like do stuff. So when we think about like an event, like we want to get to the point where we're doing things that are beneficial to whatever community we decide to like do something in. And we sort of like figure out what that is. But you know, we're all, you know, able-bodied gentlemen. Like we could do some shit. Like if we want to like, you know, do some fucking. Don't you see we're talking here?
They're agreeing with us. They're like, yeah.
They actually, the city's like lost so much funding because of COVID that they're gonna have to fire a lot of these EMS people because they just don't have money. And that's the sort of shit. Like if we could have did something, you know, during COVID, like get meals to people, that sort of shit. Like that's what we're thinking. Like what could we do? Yeah, what could we do, you know, that is in that spirit? Like we feel that energy, and how do we like make that happen? So I think that's the idea by and we just start, I mean, we are starting with the 25% just to like, you know, have something going and then sort of grow from there.
Yep, that's the plan. And we're doing it with AFSP first, only because, you know, we had love for them through this whole movement. So if we're going to get some more money, we should start with them. And then after that, I got Adriana lined up. She got some cool shit going on. And, you know, just, you know, if y'all got anything in y'all's community and y'all think, yo, Peely, man, or Gio, hit him up also. Yo, we can help in Bangladesh, or we can help in Sri Lanka, or we can help in Mexico, or anything. Just say, yo, hit us up and be like, yo, we need a little help over here. But when you ask us for help, we're going to ask you to do the foot soldier shit. So be ready to work also, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And if you also want to hit us up to be on the show, let me know. Like we set up stuff all the time. Like people, you can reach out to us to like be on the show. Like we'll ask you questions about what, you know, to try to fill up. I don't know how people managed to fill up time with me. I'm a boring person, but see, he's good at it. So, so yeah, we'll bring you on. Like, you know, we want to find out more about the people. Like the way we've been doing it is just sort of like, and we're both like bad at looking at the Twitter timeline. So we've been doing that. So there's definitely a lot of people that we've missed, and we're sorry about that. Like I know both me and Peely sort of like fell off the timeline once the announcement was made. But it's just because we don't like Twitter. But
it's hard, man. That shit is stressful, bro.
It's annoying to look at because I think a lot of people are just like fucking bored, and they're just like need to make this like controversy. I'm like,
right.
Even from the shows that we do, like people be like pulling out like random clips, and I'm like, well, we got the ad money. I don't care what you Like, I don't care. You keep watching the show. Watch it all the way to the end. That shit is juiciest shit at the end.
Oh my God. This is why I hired you. Gio. Yo, Hamad, if you're watching, Gio needs another camel, bro.
I need another camel, man.
All right. Oh, that reminds me. We're going to put out what y'all saw on the screen share is not all of the merch. We have some special merch, and this is probably going to be like most of the charity money. But if you look on Twitter, you might see a lot of guys with Pixel people. You might see a lot of guys with Pixel people on Instagram, and we're going to put out some Pixel merch also. But I don't know if that link is going to be in this, but it will be out soon also. So get ready, guys. We are going to try to help this whole world in the name of the Snyder Cut movement. Appreciate it, Gio. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, man. And seriously, like the way that you sort of like let me like be part of this is awesome. Like,
you're the man, bro.
Dude, Peely's like people give you a lot of shit. I see on Twitter, and I'm like, Peely's the nicest fucking dude. You don't even know, like this.
They
man,
don't know me.
Yeah, like this man, like all he thinks about is like how he can like involve people in what he's doing. Like, I'm not even gonna quote this shit because I don't know how it works, but there's something about like personality. There's like people that like to keep to themselves, and other people that like to like include everyone and everything. You are definitely like an includer. Like the way that you just pull people in all the time, like it's awesome. So all you people talking shit, go fuck yourself. Like I'm tired of it. I'm tired. I'm not gonna respond all the time. See, they make it to the end so they can hear this.
Right. No, I think one of no, I'm not gonna. I was about to talk shit, but I'm not gonna do that.
Nah, fuck them. Well, I'm not talking. After yesterday, like whatever bubbles people want to be in, and even then, like the funniest shit is that this all came out of a podcast that we did asking for unity,
right?
Where we just threw out like a couple of suggestions. We were like, look, the way that this is coming off, like is pissing people off. It's disrespectful to people that did a lot of work. It's not cool, but whatever. We didn't name any names, and the names came out, and they're like, nah, this is us. And we're offended.
Yep, 159, baby, 159. It did start. It started on 159, and it just kind of it's been blowing up ever since then. You know.
Yeah, because we're on 190, 190, right? Or
192. Yeah, it's 192 right now. Yeah.
192. So that means 40 episodes.
Yeah, 40 episodes.
Seriously, like if you look at what we do and you actually like listen to what our podcasts are about, these are about unity. Like the people that are brought on and whatever they talk about, we don't come on the show. You'll see. I don't really ask you questions about what the show, because I don't talk to Peely about what he's gonna ask you.
Yep.
I just set it up, and then like if it was random, I might ask you questions about why you should be on the show, but not what you're gonna talk on the show.
Right.
Like none of the questions that I didn't know what he was gonna ask me before we even set this up. We were just like, let's do one.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be some other ones that we're gonna do. Mm-hmm. No idea what we're gonna talk about. So those conversations came from people. Those are the actual feelings, and I think it's a little fucked up that those feelings are being disregarded. If we want to actually push to unity, like maybe we should like communicate with each other and be like, no, the way that you're doing this isn't like it's not coming off the right way. But whatever.
Right. At
this point, like it's not really our responsibility to like pull everyone together. I'm just like, whatever. Like if you want to be friends, we're here. We're chill. Like I'm not mad at anybody.
Right. Exactly. I'm not mad at it. I mean, fuck it. I said that yesterday on Subjective Reviews podcast, and I was like, yo, I don't have no beef with nobody. We're having fun right now, bro.
Even like how we clowning Garza, we're just like, I mean, he could look at it as just fun. Like I'm not actually attacking him or anything.
Yeah,
like, he does funny shit, and I think it's funny.
Shout out to Garza. Shout out to Garza for having Zach on that shit, dog.
Shout out to you, man. That's awesome.
There's no hate involved, bro. There's no hate with none of them boys, man. No hate with none of them. When they do crazy shit, we just react to it, and that's it.
And we're gonna point it out because I mean we were just looking out for the community. That's it. Like if you're gonna put up a thing that looks like you're trying to get money, we're just gonna point that out. Like that's something you just have to work with, you know.
Right,
I'm sure
right.
people are gonna talk shit about your merch, and I'm like, go for it.
Yeah.
Like whatever. Like
Fuck 'em.
I don't know. I don't. We have to be ready for it.
Yeah,
I
fuck
told
'em.
that to Peely. He's like, well, fuck them, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, fuck them. People always talk shit about me. I don't care, dog. Since I was a little kid, I'm just like a different person. But I'm a cool dude if you really come fuck with me.
Yeah, you
But
really are.
from
You
the
really are,
outside,
man.
I probably do act
Yeah.
crazy on the outside. But cool. I'm a
Yeah,
cool
I'm
dude.
happy. I'm happy we connected through the whole watching shit.
that whole Operation
Beep.
Protect Fund. Yeah.
I said it slowly so you can beep it out.
Beep. You're fucking crazy.
No, but no, I'm happy we I was a fan of the show, and I'm happy through that chat room we connected, and we got to do some cool shit together.
Right.
And now we're all working together, and it's awesome. Like
Hell yeah.
chatting with Peely every day is a highlight. So yeah.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
I appreciate it,
I
dog.
have nothing else to say. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I'm gonna go edit this shit up and smoke some weed and put out a podcast.
I'm gonna go work out.
Oh, all right. How's it going with homegirl?
It's going good, man. She doesn't listen to this. It's going good.
That's good. That's good.
We'll see. All
right.
Maybe
perfect.
I'm married in a couple years now.
All right. Well, good luck, dog. I hope you do, dog. Good luck.
Thanks, man. Well, good luck when you're on your end. You're like, nah, I don't need luck.
And on that note, all right, man. See ya. I'll talk to you later. Peace.
Later.